reset the match, I probably would have been fine, would have been safer. But luckily, I cleaned it up here, right? Hit him with that nice assault armor, give him that English splash real quick. Hold this knife, bruv. Go ahead, give Big Feast Man to the dome, finish it off. Hell yeah. Yo, what's going on, everybody? So today's video is going to be a little bit different. I had some uncommentated, unused footage from my first climb into the top 100. And a lot of you guys said you wanted to see that footage with some post-commentary on there, right? Giving you my thought process. So that's what we're going to do today. Right now on screen is the version of Silver Knight that I used in these clips, right? And at the end of the video, I will go over the current iteration of Silver Knight that I used to get into the top 100 the second time. I'll go over that at the end, right? Explain the part choices, what I swapped out and stuff like that. So for now, let's go ahead and start analyzing these clips, bro. Let's do it. Alright, what better way to start off this video than by having a match against the current Flavor of the Month meta pick Neo statue, right? That Bashoko Doublet Sujin, bro. These things are everywhere. So what I like to do against this build, and any kite really, is I want to try and corral them to the edge of this stage in the beginning, right? You don't want to assault boost in right away, because what's going to happen is by the time you get to them, you're going to be out of energy, right? And they're going to have a full generator and you're not going to be able to catch them. You probably get shot a lot in the meantime too, right? So you're going to see here, I'm going to assault boost, cancel it out, kind of stay outside that estrogen range and really push him to the edge of the stage. I stay left, right, to try and force him back into that wall. And then we're going to go ahead and engage after we get underneath here for cover, right? You want to go after them with as much energy as possible. And what's going to happen is you're going to see, as soon as you get to them, they're going to spam the hell out of quick boost, right? That's to throw off the FCS and stuff. But just keep in mind that they can't shoot you while they're doing that, right? So you can easily just stop and collect some energy and just start the assault boost again right when you know they're going to start moving. Right here, he messes up, but he doesn't pop that pulse armor soon, though. Well, I wasn't expecting the freaking assault armor, and he's just going to get freaking shiv, bro. Bust out that knife and shank them up real quick, you know what I mean? So these things can fold like paper when you do catch them. It's just a pain to catch them. You have to really be smart about your decision making. Now in the beginning here, you're going to see sometimes what I'll end up doing is I'll hide in the beginning. That way, hopefully when they're looking for me, they kind of close the distance for me, right? They're kind of looking around. They don't know I'm here and I can actually start off closer. So I do try that here. We get a little bit close distance to him, but he spots me here because I lost sight of him for a second. That's all right, because you can see here, I stay to the left, force him back to that wall. You can see here, right? Cut off his escape. That way you can actually freaking chase him and not have to make up an entire stage's worth of difference. And again, he's spamming that boost, so you just want to stop shooting once they start doing that, right? You'll see it again here. He's going to disengage, stop shooting, get that energy, and just go in, right? Because again, if they're dodging, they're not shooting. And we're just going to catch him here, right? He's out of energy, spam that boost, boom, slice him up, it's a wrap. Hit that assault armor early, anticipating the pulse armor. I don't know why he waited, but it worked out because we got the damage, right? So now I'm just chilling. You know, it's easy mode. I can just sit here and wait, just gun him down little by little. Have to be careful, though, because that build does put out a lot of damage, so I don't want to get stunned here. So I'm just playing around cover, trying to whittle him down little by little with the orbit and the Gatling gun. You can see we're piecing him a little bit here, right? Even if we get stunned here, we have enough belief where we shouldn't die, but I'm still going to play around cover to kind of clutch it out. Right, he gets the stun there, big damage on me, huge damage, even with the missiles, but we're just going to gun him down since he had such a strong lead, and that's pretty much it for that matchup, dude. Now, if you're wondering why that Bashoko is showing up all over the place all of a sudden, it's because it was recently discovered that our FCS does not lock on to that core the way it should, and so long story short, you're missing a lot of shots that you shouldn't be. I'll leave a link to Striker Hatasa's video on the subject in the description if you want to know, like, in great detail what's going on, you know what I mean? But let's go ahead and get into the next match. So this next matchup is a very interesting one. We got the then rank 5 Yuka on LRB Shield. Now, my build does incredibly well against LRB Shield. All variations of it, whether it's Estrogen, Duck It, Double LRB, it doesn't matter, bro. This freaking, that shield just acts as a huge bullet magnet for the Gatling gun, and then combined with the pistol, dude, it just shreds through them as if the shield's not even there. It's freaking crazy. Now, usually, you'll kind of see these midweights on, you know, some heavier parts on there. But, funnily enough, his lighter version actually works out better in this matchup against mine because it allows him to actually kite a little bit, whereas opposed to the heavy ones kind of just elevated, which doesn't really work out in their favor against my build. So in the beginning, we're going to go for an engage here, and you're going to see he kind of breaks away here, so I just back off. Sometimes you got to back off, right? You got to freaking take a breather, get a better engagement. Now, he makes a huge mistake where he actually comes in close here. Now, watch how fast I build up this freaking ace strand. Look at this. Almost stunned instantly, but I make a huge mistake. And I swapped my dagger too soon, bro. Lost all momentum to a huge ace strain. And I get overzealous here, trying to freaking compete with him. We get double stagger, and I'm so low I can't win at this point, right? LB will just kill me. To make matters worse, I pop assault armor on accident, trying to assault boost to him, and we're just dead. So not the greatest example of what I mean by this build does so great against LRB Shield. But you're going to see in the next two matches, right? As long as you don't make catastrophic mistakes like that, it's a crazy good match in my favor. Which is honestly kind of cool because my build actually, being the generalist it does very well against all meta builds, which is freaking awesome. It makes me happy. So we're going to go in here, right? And he breaks away a little bit, so I'm going to try and just, you know, stay a little far out, dodge as much as I can in the air, right? And we're just going to slowly build up that freaking stagger, because now he's playing a little more vertical, right? Staying further away, so little by little, it's going to work on him. I disengage here, stay outside his LRB range, and also another thing you want to do is you want to try and stay directly underneath him if you can, because that really messes up the LRB angle. Look how fast we catch up to him, right? Put that pressure on him, and just keep working on him, right? And just drop down underneath him, avoid that LRB, and just keep going, right? At this point, I'm trying to freaking stay underneath him as much as I can, also try and predict the pulse armor so I can catch with assault. So we get a stagger here. Funnily enough, I actually land that on him. I was surprised. We missed the assault armor, but watch this. I'm purposely get close, let him get close to me, boom, assault armor. Now, the reason I did that, right, is because usually when people pop pulse armor and they know you don't have it, they play very aggressive and they'll kind of be in your face really trying to push the advantage, push the pressure in, right, like they should. But I kind of anticipated that, kind of let myself drop to the floor, so that way, knowing that he would do that, I could hopefully catch him with assault armor, and I did, and it worked out beautifully. What I was saying before was I'm surprised that the dagger actually kind of comboed off of him on that, because if you freaking noticed, right, if you go back and look, he actually popped his shield up for a second during that stun animation, so I thought for sure he was out, and I got there too late, but it turned out to not be the case. So now we're going to do the same thing, right? Look how quick we build up that ACS strand up again, right? Look at this. Look, instant stun. That's it. Dagger. He doesn't pop pulse armor, so I hold on to my assault just in case, you know, the worst happens, right? And look at this. There's the raw damage on him. That's it. The game is practically won at this point because I have such a large lead. I know that I can kind of play it back a little bit and literally whittle him down before he can do anything. ACS strain falls off, and that's what we're going to do, right? We're just going to stay down a little bit, pepper him up, because I know just a quick couple of bursts from the Gatling gun, when it's at its strongest in the first initial burst, we'll freaking put him down, right? So go ahead, pop it up, look at that damage, right? Got half his shield gone already, just disengage, wait for the rest of the shield to fall off, and then that's it, I'm chilling. Can still lose, mind you, but at this point, you just play smart, and that's it. Gun him down, that's it. It's usually how that matchup goes, right? When it goes smoothly, it ends up going out that way. So good fight to him, man. That was actually a really fun match, aside for that freaking first round. Next up, we got a rematch against Shiroko over here, right? So I figured I'd throw this one in the video specifically because it doesn't exactly go in my favor, okay? I kind of got wrecked, all right? I made some crucial errors and I paid for it, but it'll be a nice learning experience for me and hopefully, you know, some of you guys as well, right? So you're going to see I get a nice advantage at the beginning where I put his back against the wall and I immediately throw it away by emptying out my generator, right? Which is bad for two reasons. You're about to see the first, right there. Whenever you do that, you hit a dead stop like that, and not only do you lose ground, but also gives them a chance to put crucial damage on you, which you don't want to happen in this matchup. And you're about to see, I'm going to do it again, but the real issue is right about here, I should disengage right there. And the reason for that, right, you're probably like, why would you disengage there? You're about to stun him. At that point in time, who stunned who first was kind of like a coin toss, and I had more to lose in that situation than he did. And we both had enough AP, like similar enough AP, where had I reset the match, I probably would have been fine, would have been safer. But luckily, I cleaned it up here, right? Hit him with that nice assault armor, give him that English splash real quick. Hold this knife, bruv. Go ahead, give Big Feast Man to don't finish it off. Hell yeah. So first round went pretty good for me, all right? You know, I cleaned it up, it went nice, but as you can see in the next two rounds, it doesn't exactly, you know, pan out the same, okay? Now, I do want to point out, right? This is not a build you can just pick up and see immediate results with, man. This thing requires a lot of practice and experience to actually gain the benefits from this weapon setup, right? The biggest freaking crucial thing to learn on this is trigger discipline, dude. If you're just holding down that Gatling gun trigger and spamming that pistol, I promise you aren't going to hit jack shit, bro. There's still sometimes where I mess up and I'm, you know, a little too heavy on the triggers and I just miss point blank. It's crazy. Pay attention to my pistol ammo here, right? I should have reloaded right when I did that freaking initial assault boost because look at this. All that time I could have been putting pressure on with that pistol, but it was on cooldown, it's reloading, you know what I mean? So that's another huge mistake, and that ties into like the second biggest thing, right? The first is trigger discipline. The second thing is you need to pay attention to your reloads on this build. If you're used to playing a build where you're just freaking emptying out your magazine all the time, whatever, you're not going to do well with this because you need to make sure that you have a full magazine to capitalize on that huge burst damage. If you're sitting there with like 3 or 4 shots trying to close it out, you can't bank that every freaking pistol shot's going to land, you know what I mean? And this match right here, as you can see, right, just he's playing very well. He's freaking making all the right decisions, freaking dodging around. I'm messing up my freaking positioning, run my energy dry, right? And I paid for it. I got freaking annihilated, dude. So good on them for playing that way, but yeah, man, going back to the Gatling gun and pistol, like, there's a certain cadence you have to learn with the experience of using it, right? Obviously, you want to shoot the Coquelet faster than the Ducket because that's one of the reasons you run the Coquelet over the Ducket on this build. Aside from recoil, right? The low recoil actually works better with the Gatling gun, but mostly it's the rate of fire. However, like I said, you don't want to spam it. You don't want to spam it, otherwise both recoil things will just go crazy on each other and you're not going to have anything happen here, right? And look, again, I didn't reload when I went for the approach. I had no way to stun him even though I was right on top of him. And I got stunned in response because I lost all my pressure. Right here, I make a mistake where I freaking slingshot myself over the dagger. I should have known that I wasn't going to land that assault armor there, right? I should have went underneath him to try and land the assault armor. Because for some reason, if you go at that angle with a melee weapon, a lot of times you'll like bounce and slide over the pulse armor. It's a weird interaction, but it happens pretty consistently. But yeah, just a bunch of small decisions like that cause you to lose, right? Right here, I'm at like 55 AP off the next shot. I'm not going to win from that. It's one exogen shot, but they played well. I made mistakes, and, you know, the build has some nuance, so you have to learn from it to succeed. But, you know, good game to my opponent, bro. It's all a learning process. All right, so this next matchup is double stun gun and double drones, bro. Kaze's over here piloting. Now, I actually ran into him a whole bunch of times this particular day, where I won 2 games back-to-back, then he won 2 games, and then, you know, we started trading, where it was like he won 1, I got 1, so it was a lot of really cool sets, right? He plays very well. I had fun with these. Now, the biggest piece of advice I can give you against stun guns, no matter what build you're on, but especially this one, is you have to let them hit you sometimes, man. And the reason I say is because what's going to mess you up more than anything in this matchup is having that electrical discharge interrupt your punishes, right? So my eyes are firmly on that electrical discharge throughout this entire match, right? And it doesn't matter if someone's like 1 hit away from being stunned. I'm going to let them hit me first to clear out that discharge proc so that way I don't interrupt my freaking stun, right? That's what's going to help you win this matchup. So I get a nice stun here, but I realized I got there a little too late. Yeah, I kind of knew he was going to break out of it, so just got that one little dagger slice in there real quick and then dipped out, right? But yeah, man. Biggest issue I see that's happening in this freaking footage right now is I'm not playing aggressive enough. Now, obviously, stun guns are scary, right? They can be very bursty, we know that. But there's a lot of overlap between stun gun play and kiting play to where it's a battle of attrition, right? If you play too far on the outside, they're going to weigh you down. They don't have to land all their shots. They can just land a few here and there, right? I'm not going to get his pulse armor here, so I'm immediately going to look for cover to try and draw him in so I can hopefully hit him with assault armor, right? So that's what I'm trying to do here. But you're going to see is I'm a little too slow on it. I should have popped it right here, and I didn't, right? Maybe I could have caught him there, or even a moment after. So instead, I missed it out, and he's going to put me down here. So even though I didn't get interrupted, you know, during my punishes in that matchup, right? The biggest issue is that, again, I wasn't playing aggressive enough, right? Yeah, you're gonna take damage. If you try to avoid too much of it, you're gonna be worse off for it in the end. So immediately in this match, you're gonna see I remedy what I perceived was my biggest issue, was not playing aggressive enough, and I'm just gonna be on top of him the whole time. I'm not gonna let this dude breathe, dude. Yeah, I'm gonna get freaking hit with discharge. It doesn't matter, I'm gonna take damage, whatever. Stun guns don't put out a lot of ACS strain, so you don't have to play evasive in the same manner you would against other builds to try and avoid being like stunned and punished, right? So I should have stopped shooting there, so I'm talking about right there. And I stopped shooting there, right, and just waited a second, let that discharge charge. I would have ate it and then stunned him after got a proper punish, but instead I paid for it, right? It's a mistake. But you're gonna see, because I play aggressive, I cancel out those mistakes, right? I get discharge again, I don't care, I'm still on top, go, 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 like you're not getting away from me, right? Right over here, discharge is low enough where I can go for a freaking stagger here, and I do get it, right? And next time we make it in time, boom, that's it, he's done. And that's all there is to it, right? So even if you mess up your punishes, as long as you play aggressive enough, you can still bring it back. You can't be afraid of the damage. But again, I can't say it enough, I keep harping on it. Let them hit you sometimes. Purposely clear out that discharge bar, so that way you can ensure you get a proper punish. Because, like I said, right at the beginning, that's going to kill you more than anything, right? So over here, I was doing my little cheeky thing where I'm trying to hide. Hopefully he comes over to my side so I can start off, you know, chasing after him without having to close as much distance, rather, like I do against kites. But it doesn't really work out, right? He's standing on his side, so I'm like, screw it, we're just going to go in. But again, stay aggressive here. Stay aggressive and watch that discharge bar. So right here, he's about to get stunned, right? This is risky going for it because I'm at half bar. All he has to do is land a few and interrupt me. Again, gets more. So right here, I shouldn't keep shooting. I should wait. I'll let him hit me, but I messed up. He does it anyway. But you're going to see, because I'm staying aggressive, it's not going to matter, right? All right, I'm still at 7k AP. I took damage. Who cares? Take another one. I don't care. Look, on top of him, boom. I can capitalize the assault armor, and we finish out the game. So I didn't even play as well as I should in this matchup here, but because I stayed aggressive, it made up for the other mistakes. If you can manage that discharge bar properly and play aggressive, you'll be all set for sure. So I hit record a little too late on this one, so I got a still image on screen of my opponent's build as well as their rank. I'm pretty sure I fought in Kiri a few times before, And the reason I say that is because their playstyle reflects it, right? He doesn't play like a standard, you know, zim kick style. He plays more hit and run, which is honestly the way to go against my particular build. Because believe it or not, right, my build can actually out-stagger a double zim setup. Regardless of the build, whether it's zim shield, freaking power block, or whatever, it doesn't matter, right? If they kind of play in the pocket, like very close, trying to gunfight me, majority of the time I'm going to come out on top because my build is incredibly good at gunfighting. Stay on top of them, get a nice freaking punish here. I do make a mistake where I go for a kick. If you're playing against a shield build, right, and you go for a kick to follow up, don't do that, because 9 times out of 10 they're just going to shield like you see there. You're going to be out of position, you're going to pay for it. So I kind of, you know, a little risky there. I also want to give my opponent credit for running that Lotus setup, bro. That's pretty sick. It actually works on his favor because it makes him a little more evasive and able to do this hit and run style better, which again is great against my build in this particular matchup. The double Zim build matchup is actually freaking my favorite meta matchup, double Zim of all forms, because it requires both of us to be very deliberate and smart about when we dodge, when we engage, and stuff like that. It's very interactive. It's a lot of fun. I actually like it a lot. It's an even matchup, which makes it even better, right? So I'm just trying to stay in the pocket, right, and kind of do more hit and run. You're going to see he disengages here, which is smart, right? My stuff ricochets, it's going to fall off, and it essentially resets the match. The higher you go into the playstyle, into competitive play, you're going to start realizing, I get a late punish here so you can tell, you're going to start realizing that people do that more, and it's very crucial that you do disengage when you can. Don't rely on just your pulse armor to pay, right? It makes a huge difference to be able to disengage without wasting your pulse armor. So at this point, I popped the Desperation Assault Armor, kind of knew like I'm kind of cooked on this one for sure. I was hoping maybe I can, you know, catch him off guard, sneak in a dag, but it didn't work out the way he just finishes me off. So, especially in this match, you're also going to see him go even further into that hit and run jousting style, which is great because that's what he should be doing. Because again, he can't fight me close range. Like, I want to be as close as possible in my setup, right? I want to have all the time in the world to freaking, you know, get the Gatling gun in there. Especially when I see shield builds do it, right? They'll freaking joust you and they'll sit there with their shield up and I'm just tearing them up, bro. I'm like, you don't want to do that. Because if you miss even one Zim shot, I'm gonna stun you, know what I mean? So he gets a stun there. We're going back for it's nice punch. I'm not worried about him. I'm just trying to stay on top of him, right? Capitalize, get ready for the assault armor. There it is. I was underneath him, catch him with it. Nice freaking dagger follow up. Boom. I'm not gonna go for the kick this time. I'm just gonna pump damage in. And this is where, against the double Zim heavy, is where I shine in this scenario. Once I have a strong enough lead, I stop playing further back. And I will slowly whittle them down as best I can because they're so slow in the heavy frames that they can't keep up. You can see, even against his faster frame, I'm still able to do it relatively well, right? So I have to be careful because a stun would kill me, but that was all I needed. Same thing against midweights and stuff too, right? So if you're running double Zim and you run against my build, play more hit and run jousty style as opposed to gunfighting because my build will come out on top if you do it the other way around, all right? Alright, so for this one, we got a double rifle kite on a mid to lightweight frame, right? This dude is actually a lot faster than I thought he was going to be, right? Usually I'm like, oh, you know, I can catch the lightweights, you know, he's going to be a little bit slower, but he's actually pretty damn quick. Now, in this particular matchup, one of the things you have to look out for the most is when you assault boost to them, you want to manually disengage your assault boost right before you get to them, right? Hit that X button, right? That way you maintain your freaking momentum. You don't hit that abrupt stop if you hit back on the stick. So usually what they're going to do is they're going to dash over your head once you get to them, and that's going to kind of like yo-yo them away from you. It'll disengage your assault boost, you'll get stuck in animation, then you have to go, you know, hold yourself in place for a little bit longer with another animation to keep the assault boost going again, right, to follow up again. So over here, you should disengage right there, right? I went too high up. He's already on the ground, wasting my energy, right? He's going to hit the ground, he goes back up. And because of that, I missed an opportunity to stun him, right? So right there, I missed on a huge opportunity. I could have finished the game. If I stunned him on the ground, assault armor would have came out, broke his freaking pulse, he would have been dead. But, you know, small little things like that will cost you in this type of matchup, right? So again, right before I get to him, you want to cancel, right? I was already flying too much. I don't know why I was doing this. Maybe it's... At this point, I was probably playing for a lot longer, so maybe I was, like, fatigued. I'm not really sure, but just poor play overall, and then he's making the right decisions, right? So I'm just getting outplayed here. But that's, like I said, the main thing you want to focus on is just making sure that you disengage your assault boost at the proper time, right? You just want to minimize how much space they make from you when they go to boost over your head, you know what I mean? And then again, you want to disengage it sooner as well, so that way you can fall with them as they do their whole up and down thing, right? Because here's the thing is, if you're above them and they're below, right, you're both falling together, if you're too far up, all your shots are going to miss. Just the way bullet freaking velocity or freaking trajectory works in this game. If they're below you and you're firing from up above, a lot of time you're going to miss most of your shots, and that's how they come out on top of that, right? So I'm just trying to make a smart approach, try and go towards them, right? I should have corralled them a little bit more like I did in the other matches, but I'm just not playing well here. And again, went too high up with the assault boost. I should have hit that freaking X button the moment I got to, like, my eyes hit his feet level, you know what I mean? I should drop it right here as well. I should be falling down with him right now. That way I can, you know, quick boost as I'm falling, you know what I mean? But again, now he gets back into the air before me. He goes down. Right here, we get a freaking double stun, right? I could have stunned him a long time ago. It didn't work out because I was playing foolish. So now I'm just trying to stay as aggressive as possible, make up for these mistakes. Right here, he messes up, right? He must have ran out of freaking energy. He can't do anything to escape, right? So he ate all those bullets, and we get the kill on him. Beautiful, right? So that was a result of me just being very relentless. But you can't always rely on that because these rifles, bro, if you're not, like, very, you know, freaking agile in the way you move with your assault boost, whatever, managing energy and stuff, it doesn't take long for them to stun you. And you guys know how it goes. Like, once you get stunned in a kite thing when you're chasing them, it's it. They gain too much ground. You might as well reset the match, right? Just go run away, let your stuff drop off, and then come back and try again. So we're going to go up again. Right here, I should be disengaging, right? Did a little late, but had I started disengaging, I would have been on his level, right? I would have had some energy left still, so that way if he rised up, I could have rose up with him. We're going to go ahead and get a stun him outside of range again. Just not following properly, and it's just cost me big time. I get stunned here, and just the game got away from me. Right? What am I supposed to do in this scenario, right? Those things hurt way too much, so... Yeah, the name of that, the perfect example. See how he freaking whipped past me, and I didn't disengage in time, and I held myself in place while I was starting a new assault boost, and I died for it. He got an extra shot, right? And that's the exact kind of thing you want to watch out for in that matchup. Now, with this one, we got a double LRB shield, bro. Now, usually I'm cheesing when I see this, right? Because it's a very good matchup for me. Yeah, LRBs hurt, but they can't spam them because that's their only damage source. If they overheat them, they're in trouble. However, they can't be too conservative with them either, otherwise I'm going to put out too much pressure. So usually this goes in my favor, but you're going to see here, he gets a crazy kick on me, right? Gets another one. Freaking snail legs doing their snail leg things, right? Those kicks land and change this whole game around here. Because, yeah, I'm putting up the pressure. I stun him first. But had those kicks not landed, I'd be much further ahead right now. Way less ACS strain. I could play more aggressive. So, kind of screws me there, right? I also wasn't positioning properly, so it wasn't just the snail legs doing their thing. It was also just my fault for not positioning properly. And then for the rest of this game, you see here, I'll barrel snuff myself. Right as I'm about to stun him, right? It'll be coming up soon. Right about here. And that kills me because I should have stunned him there and we could have finished him, right? He was close to the ground, assault armor would have hit him. I would have had enough health left to actually finish off that assault armor freaking stagger, stun him, and then kill him. But that's the thing is, yeah, this build is hyper aggressive, in your face, it needs to be close range, but the Gatling gun's such a long gun. If you're point blanking him, your barrel's gonna go past him, all your shots gonna whiff, and you're just screwed, you know what I mean? And it happened there. So the kicks were the biggest deciding factor, but also my decision making at the end didn't help either, right? So over here, I'm trying to get close, right? I want to, you know, reduce the amount of times or chances that he can actually go for the kick. So he dodged it, right? I'm reloading. I should have started assault boosting. I would have already been up top of him, right? Probably stunned him, got the assault armor off. But, you know, again, this small little mistake. So here, I'm just trying to play around cover, right? Let my stuff fall off, and he lets it fall off, which I'm surprised that he does, you know what I mean? And he comes in close like that. He gets some shots. With the LRB, I barrel stuff myself again. With the LRB, you just want to freaking double LRB shoot. You want to play aggressive on them because they're playing a whole different game. They don't have to freaking stun you to kill you, right? They just kill you just raw damage. And you see that's what he's doing here, right? What I should have done here is I should have stayed up top with him, then short my shots kind of stayed on top of him to try and like finish him off. Because instead, he's surviving barely health, right? Not to dodge these freaking charge shots to survive. So I kind of messed up on this matchup as well, too. LRB hits me doing LRB things, right? It doesn't have to hit you directly to kill you. So this was another kind of display of like what happens when you kind of play sloppy and let things happen that they shouldn't. And your positioning matters a lot. Like a lot. So the last match for this video isn't against the top 100, but it is against Lamm Kite, which I wanted to include in the video, right? I couldn't find any top 100 Lamm players that day, so we got this guy. Now, the name of the game for this one is patience. Your first order of business should be to find a spot to hide under, right, some cover, and just let them waste their energy while they're floating up there. Don't stay too far away, otherwise they'll just touch down, get the energy back, you'll be back to square one, right? So just hide, right? Take cover. Try not to get hit. That way they're kind of forced to try and get that lead, because all they're going to try and do is get a lead on you, and then they will time you out, right? We've all been there. They have no problem timing you out, so you should play accordingly. Why wouldn't you also try and time them out, right? So the biggest thing you want to watch out for is the Javelin. The Javelin freaking beta missile. As long as you dodge that, the moment you get to them, if they hit you with that hammer, you shouldn't get stunned as long as you didn't get hit by the Javelin, right? So he's been up there for a while. I come in now. I'm like, here we go. You'll see I wait before I start shooting, right? I want to make sure that my freaking pistol's in range. Just because my Gatling gun's in range doesn't mean the pistol's in range, right? Don't shoot ahead of time, otherwise you'll be half a magazine or empty when you need it most. So They get a freaking nice punish on him, and he doesn't pop his expansion for whatever reason, and he dies. Which, you know, super satisfying. Beautiful. Great, right? So now I'm a game up. So if you wanted to, you could get like really petty and just hide the whole game and like really time out and get that freaking second win draw, whatever, and you'll be up a game. Or you could just play it the normal way, right? Essentially, like I said, they're going to time you out. It's an alternate win condition, that's fine, but you can do the same. Don't let some sort of misplaced pride rob you of a victory here, man. Why play a one-sided game of tag where you chase them the whole time? Go chase after them, right? You fought them in their element where they're strongest, right? You flew up to them. Once you get that lead, force them to fight you where you're strongest, man. Let them come play the game, you know, if they want to win, right? So I fly up there, get this freaking damage, get the punish. I pop assault armor early, right? I did one slice in the assault armor because I wanted damage above anything else. I knew it wasn't going to break the shield. I didn't care about the shield. I wanted that AP lead to force him to come play me. Otherwise, he's going to get timed out. When I'm playing against kites and I know they'll time me out without hesitation, then I do the same to them, you know what I mean? It's an alternate win condition. Right? Two can play that game, essentially, is what I'm saying. As long as you avoid the javelin, right, and you take your time and let them waste their energy before you engage, it's going to help dramatically in this match, man. That's my best advice. Play for time, dude. That's going to help you immensely. Now, one final piece of advice is actually about the core missile. Most really good land players will not shoot it out if you're undercover, like you see happen here. So if you're flying at them, right, and they release it, what you can actually do is you can go into soft lock, fly directly at that core missile, and then just dodge either left or right during your assault boost right before that thing hits you, and it'll completely rip away the tracking off that, right? It will not loop around, it won't freaking hit you in the back or anything like that. It just completely invalidates it, which is pretty cool, right? Once you kind of get in the habit of that, it should help out this matchup tremendously, right? So keep that in mind. Try and add that bit of knowledge into all the other stuff I said in this matchup. And hopefully you guys will start freaking beating these Lamm kites a lot more consistently. I mean, it's still going to be difficult, right? It's a long game, but hopefully it helps. Alright, everybody, let's go ahead and talk about the current iteration of Silver Knight. My main build, my baby, bro. I freaking love this thing, dude. Every time I look at it, it just puts a huge smile on my face, bro. It's my main build, son. So, we'll go ahead and start with the Gatling gun pistol combo, right? I'm not going to spend too much time here since I already talked about it a lot during the video. But essentially, what makes it so potent is because, in my opinion, the biggest weakness of both these weapons on their own is the cumulative impact, right? All the pressure you put out falls off very quickly, except when you pair these two together, the Gatling gun and the pistol together, all that pressure they put out just sticks. It doesn't go anywhere, dude. And then combined with the freaking orbit on the back, too, with all three of them working together, it's the reason why this build is so oppressive and relentless, because it just puts out constant pressure and it just will not fall off, you know what I mean? I run the Coquelet over the Ducat specifically because the lower recoil plays better with the Gatling gun. And also, too, the faster rate of fire does also play better with the Gatling gun as well, right? The Ducat is nice. I've tried it out a bunch of times, but it just doesn't get the same results as the Coquelet does, honestly. And really, freaking, I like the Coquelet more anyway, so it works out beautiful, right? But the freaking Orbit here, this is a sleeper MVP of the build, man. I've tried to take this thing off many times, right? Not because I don't like it. I do love this thing. I've freaking been running this thing since I first unlocked it in the game, you know what I mean? But it's one of those things where you have it on you can't tell if it's doing anything, and so I've tried out like every other back weapon, and long story short, the moment I take it off, I can immediately feel a massive decrease in my ability to gunfight, especially in the double Zim setup or trying to pressure like heavyweights, stuff like that. I just can't put out as much pressure as I normally can, and it's hugely noticeable to the fact where it feels like I nerf myself every time I take it off, right? So it stays. I freaking love this thing, been rocking it. Freaking before I got buff, all that stuff, I can't take it off, bro. It just feels wrong whenever I do it, right? Love that weapon. Now, for the melee weapon, right, I got the pulse blade here instead of the dagger. This has been my main melee weapon, right? It's my favorite melee weapon that I've used on Silver Knight almost the entire time, right? The only one that I've actually tried seriously other than it is the dagger. And essentially, I swapped off it because, one, I'm more comfortable with the pulse blade, and two, even though I don't use it much outside of punishes, there are times where I will get a, you know, little cheeky freaking stagger in there, right? Finish off that last bit of stagger bar with a freaking slice in there, follow up, all that stuff. Having the utility to actually use the charge version of it, I do use it sometimes, and whenever I take it off, I can feel it's just not the same flow for me. But really, it just comes down to, I just like the pulse blade more, bro. It's my favorite melee weapon. I think it's cool as hell, right? And that kind of segues perfectly into my frame part choices, right? I'll tell you guys right now, all these parts that you see on the frame are literally there because they're just my favorite parts. I think they're cool as hell and I like the way they look. That's it. I know a lot of you min-maxers probably have a field day making this build like super optimized, bro, because you absolutely can, right? The head unit, I'm using the shade eye because It's my favorite head unit in the game. I think it looks super badass. It's very knightly. It's cool as hell, bro. And I think it's a pretty good head for the stats, too. So that's why it's there. Mind Alpha Core is my favorite core in the game. I think it looks sick. And luckily, it's also a very good core. A lot of people use it for very good reasons. It's got solid stats, right? So I lucked out there. Hal legs are my freaking favorite legs in the game, and honestly feel like they're a little underutilized. That jump distance is pretty damn solid for the freaking, what's it called? The defenses that you get for running it, you know what I mean? I think it's a good leg setup, but again, it's my favorite leg. I just like it. The arms are the only thing I've ever, like, kind of played around with over time. I do love the Hal arms, but I've messed around with the Ephemera, and I've been messed around with the VP arms as well for that melee specialization. But I will tell you, the Gatling gun and pistol combination, recoil control and fire specialization both matter tremendously with these, because whenever I swap off of the Hal arms, right, I do notice a big freaking decrease in how often I can actually stun people, and, you know, there's a lot of consistency that's lost. So then it becomes a question of, is the higher melee damage even worth it if you're not stunning as often, you know what I mean? So I really do like the Hal arms, but this is the part that was chosen primarily because of freaking stats, right? That anti-energy defense was the main reason I chose it, because that was back during the LRB tank days, right? Those freaking lag tanks. I needed the higher energy defense. And also explosive defense was nice too. But yeah, that segues into the boosters, honestly, because originally my favorite booster was NGI, which was also chosen as a necessity for the LRB tank days, right? It was the only boost that gave me enough QB thrust to actually dodge those freaking lag cannons, dude. But I had this on forever, but more recently I swapped off to the SPD to try out the higher boost speed, and I liked it a lot, right? It's more freaking EN efficient when it comes to assault boosting. I was finding a lot of success with it. I liked it a lot. It's still got solid QB speed, so, you know, it's nice. High melee attack thrust, freaking stuff, all that good, right? But the most recent changes to the Alula, and honestly, this is the biggest upgrade that this build has ever had. Because if you look at the total weight, it's at 73k versus the reload ideal weight is only at 62k. But because the generators got buffed across the board in terms of capacity, I decided to try it out, right? And it's not as energy hungry as I initially thought it would be. And that assault boost thrust being as high as it is makes a huge difference against kite builds, right? This build could always catch, even when the NGI could always catch kites and stuff, but the Alula makes it that much more consistent. Because if you look at the QB thrust, right, on it right now, it's at 370. Compare that to the NGI, it's only 380. That's not a huge difference, right? And if you look at the SPD, what I was using before is boost speed 351 versus the current 343. So it's a nice in-between, and it really lends itself well to kind of keep me in the range that I want to be. I can catch kites easier, and then I can stick with them easier as well, which is freaking nice. So just add a lot of extra consistency to the build, and then against every other build, it allows me to stay in that, you know, beautiful, closer, ideal range like I want to, right? The orbit is very nice because it has an extra medium range assist, so when someone slips outside of my close range, it is actually able to reach out and tag them, which is also another crucial reason why it's on this build, right? It helps keep that pressure up. And that ties into the FCS, right? I'm running the Abbott because I need that medium range assist for the orbit. It helps out the orbit tremendously, and it's also good for the Gatling gun. And the close range assist is good enough to where it does exactly what I need to with this hyper close range build. The Oculus is okay, and I used it even, you know, I tried it out rather before the nerf, and it just, missing that medium range assist, I could feel it. It just wasn't for me. Maybe it's a comfort thing, but the Abbott is my favorite FCS, man. I'm sticking with it. I can't imagine a situation where I'll ever swap it off, like, seriously, you know what I mean? Generator, historically, on this build was VP20C. I like this lightweight, and my ideal generator in this game that I was always looking for was something that recovered energy very quickly on the ground and also recovered energy quickly from, you know, emptying out your generator, right, from redlining it. VP20C was that, but then once this thing got buffed to Mingtang, this morphed into my true ideal generator that I was always looking for in this game, right? VP20C was the closest to what I wanted. Mingtang became exactly what I wanted, right? So I know this is the current flavor of the month, but this is what I was always hoping for, and that's why I'm running it. And it's also a reason why I decided rather to try and swap to the Alula, because now I have the extra EN capacity to rock with, you know what I mean? So that's the reason why I ran those things. The expansion, I always run Assault Armor usually. My second climb to top 100, I decided to try out Pulse Armor, like, seriously, for real, right? Just to, you know, give it a shot. And it works out very good. Obviously, it's way more consistent than Assault Armor. Anyone that uses this knows that its biggest issue is inconsistency. You can pop it on top of someone's freaking, right on top of someone's face. They're not even moving, and sometimes you won't get rid of their shield. Sometimes you get rid of their shield. They take no ACS strain, whatever. It's very strong, especially with Dagger, but I've also used it with just the Pulse Blade as well. Because, again, just preference. And it's nice being able to cancel out the stuff when it does work. But pulse armor is also really good on this build, bro. It just makes things much more consistent. You can play a little more aggressively against kites too if you pop your pulse armor the same time they do theirs, right? Stay with them. It's nice, but that's pretty much it for the build overall, man. This thing was just made specifically built around the Gatling gun. It's my favorite weapon in the game. I built around it, and I picked the parts that I like the most. I like the parts, and that's that. That's like the main thing, right? And I make it work. So you can make your favorite stuff work as long as you build well and build accordingly, right? Swap out some things, but yeah, man, other than that, there's nothing else to say about it. I know this freaking breakdown's probably longer than it needs to be, so I'm gonna wrap this up. Hopefully you guys had a good time watching the video. Hopefully you learned something too, and if you did, feel free to press the like button. You know, if you don't, it's all good. I'm not sweating it. Consider subscribing though if you haven't, that way you don't miss out on any more freaking I'm cool content, right? But other than that, thank you guys for watching. As always, I'm gonna get up out of here. I'll see y'all again real soon. Take care, everybody. Later.